Go through the 9 points, and we're going to see how close we're getting to it. First of all, the first step is government spending, and we do a lot of that. And it's massive.
Yeah, we do have massive. We're going to spend $7.6 trillion as a society in this upcoming year, which is roughly 4 times what Reagan's era spent when he said government was the problem.
All right, number 2 are tax systems that reduce incentives.
Yeah, we have massive tax systems, and hallmarks of socialist societies are poor incentives where there's weak economic growth, and that comes from tax systems. Trump did a good job beginning with the business tax code. He's got to do better with personal so we have better growth.
Next step, number 3, reduced growth leading to economic stagnation, and that's something the EU's seen over the last 20 years.
Yeah, they've had zero economic growth over the last 20 years, and government is about 60-70% of their economies. In the United States, we're about 36, with regulations closer to 50. Our growth has slipped from 4 to 2 over the last 60 years. Trump's trying to revive it.
Next up, something that gives me rage, are growing deficits.
Yeah, this is what happens when you have massive government spending. There's no example in history of a big government that didn't have deficits and lots of taxes. And the United States is pushing the limit here. Greece was at 180% of the economy. We're at 106.
Okay,
in debt.
Next step, number 5, governments print money. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, no government can keep up with the spending. Taxes can't do enough, so they start printing money. This is the danger zone when that sort of thing happens. We had it once in the 70s. Venezuela has it now. They have, 1,000,000% inflation this year. 1 million.
Number 6, wage and price control.
Yeah, this all comes out of weak economic growth. That's the key here. If you have 0 or less growth, you're going to have stagnation. And then you start having shortages, all these problems. We had it a little bit in the 70s. In Venezuela, the stores can only be open on certain days, and you can only shop on certain days.
That's crazy. Underground economies rise. That's happening in certain spots.
Yeah, in the United States, we had a lot of this during the Carter era. But once the engine got going under Reagan, then it changed. So in Greece, it's about 25%. Here in America, it's 5 to 6%. That's a good and normal amount.
Number 8 is a big one, class warfare, which we're already seeing right now, frankly.
Yeah, and that all relates to economic growth. If people can get jobs, then they start to worry about what's on their own plate and advancing. But if they can't get jobs, they look to the others and say, well, they're doing too well. And if you have too much income gap or wealth gap, then it gets played up. That's where the real danger zone starts.
And the final step is total societal discord, which is what we're seeing right now in Venezuela. But, Tom, let me ask you about this. How, in this country, as you look at some of those steps towards socialism, some of them seem like we're right there. But others were a bit apart. Are we closer to this than we were 20 years ago?
We are, because spending is so much more. And if they went forward with something like Medicare for all and drove spending above 50%, then socialism starts to sound normal and comes into view. If we kill off economic growth with AOC's Green New Deal, then you're going to have this class warfare. This can be avoided. Sweden's walking away from socialism down from 70%